Hey everybody, Zach Wolf here with another great Top 5 Tuesday. Why am I all fancy for this Top 5 Tuesday? Well, the Garland Walker Inn of Court in Houston has asked me to speak to their members tonight about using social media for professional networking, especially in this pandemic era. So for the presentation tonight, I have come up with the 5 things that lawyers often do wrong on social media. And I've tried to pick 5 things that are the less obvious things. We all know what the obvious, intuitive things are. Don't be a bully on social media. Don't insult people on social media. Don't share client confidential information. Those are all pretty obvious. But I'm going to point out what might be some less obvious mistakes that lawyers make when they try to use social media for professional networking. The number 5 mistake lawyers make with social media for professional networking is not using social media. Maybe that is obvious, but a lot of lawyers either don't use social media or they may have an account, say, on LinkedIn, but they never really do anything with it. I think that's a mistake. I think social media is a great tool for communication. And if you're not taking advantage of that additional tool, I think you're missing out. The number 4 not so obvious mistake lawyers use on social media is not having a clearly defined specialty. As a lawyer, you need something that's going to differentiate you from all the other lawyers out there on social media. So for example, for me, that would be non-compete and trade secret litigation. It doesn't necessarily have to be a specialized area of law. It could be a certain industry. It could be some other kind of specialized practice that spans multiple areas of law. But you need some kind of specialty to distinguish yourselves from other lawyers. The number 3 mistake lawyers make when they try to use social media for business development is not having a clearly defined idea of who your target audience is. So again, in my case, I do non-compete and trade secret litigation. I have a pretty broad target audience. It breaks down into 2 pieces. One is other lawyers who can potentially refer cases to me. The second piece is non-lawyers who find themselves in departing employee disputes. That might be a business owner, it might be an employee or executive. That's my target audience. But your target audience is probably different, and it depends a lot on your area of practice. Remember the thing I said earlier about your specialty. Once you've defined your specialty, that should help you define who your target audience is, and that will then guide what you do on social media. The number 2 mistake that lawyers make on social media is having the wrong mindset. Here's what I mean. As lawyers in law firms especially, we tend to exalt the billable hour above everything else. So we fall into this way of thinking that our billable client work is real work. That's the serious stuff. And this stuff we do on social media for business development purposes, that's frivolous. It's fluff. That's not real work. That, of course, is the wrong mindset if you think about it. Social media is just as much work as your client work. That doesn't mean it can't be fun, and usually it is kind of fun, but you have to have the mindset that when you're using the social media for business development purposes, that's part of the job. And finally, the number 1 mistake lawyers make when using social media for professional networking and business development is having a social media presence that is too generic. What do I mean by generic? You've all seen this. You know the kinds of things that every lawyer and every law firm likes to put on social media. For example, law firms love to say on social media, we're pleased to announce that our litigation department was recognized as a top 5 litigation section, etc., etc. There's nothing wrong with that, and doing that is better than nothing. But if that's the only kind of thing you do on social media, you're not going to distinguish yourself from all the other lawyers and law firms on social media. How can you do that? Well, one way is don't be afraid to show some of your personality on social media. You don't have to be just like every other lawyer. A second thing you can do that I think is really effective is to share opinions about your specialty. Remember number 4 earlier, the specialty? Well, when you share opinions about your specialty, you invite more engagement and interaction, and you also position yourself as a thought leader in your area of practice. And a third thing I'll mention as a way to make your social media presence less generic, this is probably the granddaddy of them all, and that is to create original content that is related to your specialty and that is helpful to your target audience. Remember specialty and target audience earlier? I said those would drive the things you do on social media. Well, one of the best things you can do is create original content. In my case, I create blog posts, I create videos on my YouTube channel. For you, it might be something different, but creating original content is a great way to show potential clients that they can know and trust you with a matter in your specialty. Okay, those are my 5 ways that lawyers go wrong using social media, focusing on some less obvious ways. Do you have others? Please leave a comment, let me know. And hey, thanks for watching.